Martin, though, that is that leads. Great start by now, Bastianini. He's already up into second place.
He's behind him in fifth. I thought I saw Bagnaia slightly rocking in his boxes.
It does tighten up and Constantine up through that turn 2, turn 3 section. That's a full at the front then. It's Martin who once again has made the dream launch. Alacia Spark thought about flinging the KTM machine up on the inside of Bastianini into turn 10.
7th place, so it is progress on the first lap from 12th on the grid, but not quite to the extent that we...
Of winning this Grand Prix, it's imperative, vital that Bastianini keeps on lap 1. Looks like all the rides are moving away. Coming from a long way back there, wasn't it? He said all weekend he's been suffering, he's been slow in this final sector, Pecco Bagnaia, by Bez and Morbidelli, of course, his stablemates in the VR46 Academy. Martin is
to the end of that first lap. The yellow flags are still out, as you can see there. There are still bikes being recovered. But Bastianini is at this stage keeping Jorge Martin at least within range.
This is going to be a replay then of what's been an incident on lap 1 that's looked like he just locked the front there on that chain direction, and then wrong place, wrong time. He can, hasn't he, Alex? Alex Spargo and Alex Marquez, 8 crashes between. Work quickly to clear away the debris. Martin, though, streaking away here, isn't he? Big
Bastianini, I guess, will feel confidence that he'll have speed late in the race, but doesn't want to leave himself too much to do. Bagnaia is not exactly crawling all over the back of Frankie Morbidelli. He's only 4/10 of a second for.
He's doubled his lead over the beast with a 1:31.892. That, of course, we have to bear in mind is on the soft front, soft rear tyre, so it's not a 1:31.9. So yeah, he's making hay with those soft tyres right now.
Place, and there are only 4 riders still in the race behind him on the track. Brad Bin.
What Anea Bastianini was talking about on Friday. You need 2 or 3 laps to gain rear tyre when you've got track conditions. As Marquez and Gian Antonio slug it out, got track temperature over 60 degrees. With the medium rear tyre, you have to wait now.
Well, Jorge Martin said earlier in the year what he was missing relative to Bagnaia, as Acosta now does to Bagnaia. Martin certainly is the one with confidence at this stage. His lead is now over a second.
Isn't he? But now Morbidelli is going to try and find a way through on the beast. This is going to make the challenge harder to work his way back towards Jorge Martin at the... In the, a 1:31.8, wasn't it, on lap 2 for Martin. He dropped it.
1:8 on the 3rd lap for Pecco Bagnaia, who is still stuck in this queue. And toughing it out with Digia on the way through turn 11. So this is your...
Full of throttle coming out of turn 10. It just was not gripping. It wasn't loaded underneath him. It was right now, as the former Moto2 world champion. Further back then, there's Bagnaia yesterday, coming now through turn 16. You can bet your bottom dollar that Martin... This could get worse here for Bastianini, because at the moment, Morbidelli bet second.
Is on his laurels at any stage here, even with a lead of 1.5 seconds on lap 5. In from there, and he rather easily loses 3rd place.
Well, Acosta gapped him straight away. And that Frankie Morbidelli eases on through. So... This has, well, a long way to go, 23 laps, but he's just giving Martin too much of a head start on lap 3, and now he's got down to a 1:31 flat. Nobody...
A massive queue of bikes that you're all looking at are all Ducatis. Morbidelli's ahead for 3rd place.
Betseki's going to make a move soon on Bastianini. Can he sustain this pace? Oh, that's close. Bezzecchi knows he's fast. To see how long Gian Antonio can run his kind of pace with the soft front and soft rear. Pedro Acosta, what a lap that is from Acosta. Fastest of the Grand Prix so far.
Marquez on Pecco Bagnaia. Gian Antonio might well get himself involved. These are the 3 riders next year. They do 7th place.
That was a lovely move by Gian Antonio. There was not a lot of room there. Gian Antonio, though, just a quick reminder, is the only rider that's got the soft front, soft rear. Full of confidence. It's just how much he can run this pace. As Bezzecchi finally is it at all for the beast.
Yeah, I thought Digi was having a look at Bagnaia as well in the background. He didn't. The factory Ducatis. Bastianini just dropping backwards, and Gian Antonio once again 6 machines.
Yeah, he got it wrong though. Charging in hot on Bagnaia, going through 13, lost him through on the attempt. He's got to do all the hard work all over again. Over the line, seconds clear of Acosta. Once again, Acosta doing a 1:31.0, which is just through on Bastianini. Found personal best laps. Once they've got through on the beast.
Bastianini, of course, lost positions on that last lap to Bezzecchi. He did a 31.5, 4 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, this was Bagnaia, just did not get a clean getaway. Momentum, no drive forward at all from Bagnaia. Getting some forward momentum, and then he started clicking through the gearbox, but already around the outside.
Is this where Quartararo is going to lose all his places? Doesn't appear so. In 13th place at this stage of the race. He said yesterday, once he lost places, he didn't.
So there is Bagnaia. Bagnaia versus Marquez at all. There is Marco Bezzecchi then over the line. Jorge Martin back. That's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Just testing Acosta here, seeing what the rookie pace. He's keeping himself in the 1:31.1s, and once again, success.
Ducatis are up to speed now. Bastianini and Bagnaia both did personal bests, 1:30. The pace we're expecting from them when the race began, and that's why Bastianini is coming back at Bezzecchi.
To really come in and start working. How many more times have Marquez and Fabio Di Donato can't keep himself in the hunt here as he lunges on the inside of Marquez, going through overtakes. It looks fantastic, it's a great show, but it's not doing them any good.
Right, there is Di Gianantonio again, just barges Marquez out of the way. It's coming out of his ears as he watches the top six disappear. He's still marooned in 8th place.
Yeah, finally. This is sort of
Misano,
shades of Emilia Romagna, isn't absolutely nowhere. Mid-race distance, Bagnaia was almost running quality. The problem is, he's let Jorge Martin establish a 4.1 second lead. Both exchange 1:31.0s as we go halfway around this lap.
Oh, that's a crash in the background for
Di
Gianantonio. We're never going to find out how far that's...
Policy, his tactics with the soft front, soft rear were win it or bin it. Great fight, but unfortunately, his soft rear full fitness with that damaged left shoulder. Now then, look back, Bagnaia. Between him and Di Gianantonio on that last lap, well, they overtake each other, what, 4 times? But 5-0, so he's taken a 2/10 out of Martin. What he is, and Bastianini, the 3 Italians directly ahead of him.
Bagnaia will certainly hold at this rate. Let's see if he can make it a little further into this one. But Pedro Acosta was also for 1:30s. The only one who wasn't on that last lap was Marco Bezzecchi, who did a 1:31 flat.
Well, to consider for the likes of Morbidelli, Bez, the Beast, and Bagnaia as well, whereas Jorge Martin has no such dramas, no such there is found. 2/10, 3/4 of the way around this lap and through the final sectors. Bezzecchi charging a little bit wide. Got to be careful, tricky, tight right-hander. Yeah, Acosta then, a 1:34. Pressure starting to mount behind Martin because Acosta, Morbidelli, Bezzecchi and Bastianini.
But also Martin got slower. He dropped into the 1:31s, 31.2 for leading group last time around. Marquez has also got back up to speed and back into the high 1:30s. So Bagnaia, but he's nearly 5 off the race lead.
Yeah, 2 seconds clear of Binder, who's in 8th. He would do when he spoke to Simon Crayford on the grid. He's 9th. A couple of tenths clear of Mia. Of course, we've lost Di Gianantonio recently while he was having a good old...
It's worth keeping an eye then on the riders in this leading group who are on the soft front tyre. Actually start to lack a little bit of turning capability late in this race. Acosta, his first half of the lap. Pedro Acosta set the fastest lap of the race altogether.
This is game on. Pecco Bagnaia, it's almost a carbon copy, isn't it, of Emilia Romagna. And now then, down between Bagnaia and Martin has shrunk to 3.4 seconds.
The 3 up ahead of him. He's got Morbidelli, Bezzecchi and Bastianini all in Jorge Martin for the lead of this race. That's going to be Pecco Bagnaia's problem once he catches.
Second half of it where these riders are going to be on a tightrope in terms of the grip levels. We heard David 5 or 10 laps or so. Look, very pensive looking Gino Borsoi.
Oh, yeah, get off it, Mark.
Got to jump off that one. He won't realise this. He's going to get a very, very hot right boot. Blows out of the belly pan. He's trying to get the marshals to get the fire extinguisher out. Frankie Karch pouring out the belly pan there. So Marquez denied the champion in the World Championship this year. Is that finally, as the fire comes out, Marquez...
Not a lot from the onboard audio of Marquez because the bike is no longer running. Acosta might have something to say about that. The lead is now down to 0.6 of a head.
Tranmere, I think that puts him in double figures in terms of DNFs. There, so easy just to wash the front out as you're pushing hard on the front end. Hello, that's another one for the tally for the Spanish ride. Of course, his teammate Luca.
Well, just a measure of how good a job Pedro Acosta is doing at the moment in this race. He's been Bastianini, who were riding on board, but who's now moving up into 4th place at the expense of Binder. Does deserve a shout out. He's come all the way from 19th on the grid now up into
his lap of the Grand Prix. Not much in it. He's only 800 quicker than Morbidelli ahead of him, but a 1 coursing through the veins of the factory Ducati rider. Is it too little, too late?
The gap is just under 0.7 of a second. They're still exchanging 1:30. He, like Bagnaia, might be saying after the race, I just left myself way too much to do.
Morbidelli on the soft front tyre. That surely will have to be a factor as he went through turn 11. That's where Marc Marquez's GP23 4th place. Next in his eye line, he's trying to work away through your view there. Now they come into view at the final corner. It's Martin, your race lead. Acosta, hard to believe it's his first visit on a MotoGP machine here in Mandalika of the Grand Prix so far.
1:30.6 for Bastianini and Bezzecchi. Out on Bagnaia on that last lap, so Bagnaia in a little bit of a detached 6th place in the moment. Martin yesterday will be more than cancelled out.
And Frankie Morbidelli has not had a podium where he's potentially going to be podiumless, so you know how much Frankie's going to fight. There is Martin then, through turn 11. Corner which...
Is Bagnaia potentially just giving his front tyre a little bit of a breather here? So a bit too soon and potentially put himself into hot water later on if his pressure goes on. More than the possibility of a podium finish for Bagnaia if he can get to the front of this group. The three ahead of him.
Already over the line, both of them swap 130.8s. Bagnaia has done a 130.8 himself as Bastianini tries to win in this Grand Prix. He had to make that move as Morbidelli tries to top it out, and it's a success. And now through 4 we go, and this is keeping Marco Bezzecchi firmly in this back.
Right back onto the tail of them as well. Bagnaia did get back into the 130s last time around. Have the same problem this afternoon. 6th place at the moment for Bagnaia. He's now
the second half of this Indonesian Grand Prix here in Mandalika, where tyre management will be the pivotal factor. Who's keeping this Gini or Bezzecchi through turn 16 we go. About to complete Martin's lead over Acosta, still just being kept at the moment. Martin and Acosta matching each other blow for blow.
Up a second, so I do wonder whether that's perhaps deliberate on the part of the reigning world champ. Tyres they selected, Bastianini the only rider on your screen with riders in front and...
Of course, it's so hard to overtake in MotoGP these days. Every move is an answer. Bezzecchi steams in hot on that soft front tyre into turn 10. Morbidelli is not giving this one up at all. Look at that from Morbidelli. Bastianini
looks of it, or Pedro Acosta's up to it, one of the two. We'll find out over the line. The gap is almost halved. Is Pedro Acosta beginning to sniff that potential first MotoGP win behind him? 10 laps remaining. Martin's pace dropped off to a 31.5 last.
Attacked and ambushed by Frankie Morbidelli, and he nailed the perfect turn 16. As he got left in these final 10 laps of this Mandalika Grand Prix, look at the speed difference held up, and as we mentioned, it's so hard to make a clean overtake. The issue now started with this lap 18.
Yeah, I think he's left himself slightly too much to do, unless there's some sort of Bezzecchi. It's an all VR46 Academy battle now for 4th, 5th and 6th with Bagnaia. Of course, with Bastianini now clear of Morbidelli, any hope of a podium is now starting to disappear up the road for the world.
And that's where Martin's just able to respond in that fast sweep, hasn't it, by Acosta. An unbelievable ride by Jorge Martin. The crushing disappointment of his sprint exit on the first lap yesterday. This has been 10th of a second. Bastianini, 130.65, Acosta ahead of him. Now he's got 9 laps remaining here, so it's going to be all eyes on number 20.
Half-tenths quicker even than Martin on the last lap, so it's come from 3.5 down to all the way to the end of the race. Maybe Bastianini isn't completely out of this yet.
Turn 10, did he make it through? No, it looked like he was going to have a little bit of a nibble in finish. Now Bez finally, well, he thought about it at turn 10. He's going to run in hot mode. Yeah. Bezzecchi's front tyre going through 13.
They've got a big problem here, the top two with an air back. Behind Jorge Martin through the third sector. It was 3.1 when the lap on him. The 23 is closing. A 31.0 for Martin. 30.
Ludicrous from the beast on a 19-lap set of old Michelin tyres. Highway Tour last year in Phillip Island had a massive lead when he took the gamble on the side. Once again, that is astonishing pace, isn't it, by Enea Bastianini? He was a second.
Enea Bastianini's speciality, isn't it? Late race pace when Gianni Morbidelli for Marco Bezzecchi. Bagnaia now right on touch with the 2 ahead.
On Acosta through the first half of this lap 20. Is he come to him before he was able to pick up his speed?
Was it by design?
Was it last year? Was it by design? Did he think World Grand Prix? It has stabilised through the third split, but he still got it down.
Losing a little bit of touch with Martin. That gap's going back out to over a second again. His teammate Costa did respond. They were back into the
he's now down. It's too much. The pace after he set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 130.53 Grand Prix. He eats a load of dust at the first corner and cares out, and now Enea Bastianini crashing out of third place as he was Bagnaia for glory in 2024.
We'll never know ultimately how far. Now Jorge Martin can just watch Pedro Acosta in second place and Machida, who is really starting to fade in this race, and Acosta is Martin's only remaining competitor.
As Bastianini and Emilia-Romagna last weekend, as he was starting to set the last time out from third place as well, as he was charging back towards victory. So now this fight between Morbidelli, Bezzecchi and Bagnaia.
It's to go past his very good friends from the VR46 Academy here. He's not going to get, he can get up into third place. He's currently on target for 11 for fifth place out of third place. Further back, we've got Fabio Quartararo also going very, very quickly. He's the key battle on track now with just over 5.5 laps to go, and Bagnaia is gifted.
And of course, with that wearing soft front tyre, just could not get it to a podium, a very unlikely podium here for Bagnaia. Lap every corner as Bagnaia is coming from a long, long way back. There's no lead that Jorge Martin had yesterday. Not Martin for clear of Bagnaia. Will he be leaving this Mandalika weekend with
Frankie Morbidelli? Arguably might want this podium even more than he does. He hasn't had a Jerez back in 2021. He's got to hold off the number one. 64 Grand Prix that is since that last podium for Morbidelli, and he's going to have a sweeps on through on the run to turn 10. Morbidelli and Benny battle with the soft front tyre. It's been a gamble that has paid off for them. Heading seconds after he'd set that 1:30.5 stand finish after Anea's big mistake, because he knows not only has he part the scene at Ducati as the MotoGP World Champion this year. Yeah, doing what he needs to at this stage. A 31-2 versus Acosta's 31-4. Acosta and Bezzecchi under control. It's a 3.6 second gap that Acosta has to find.
Felcia Honda rider Johan Zarco, who is on course for the Chang International Circuit, was the last time on a Sunday. Marc Marquez's 6th place. We saw a good job actually. When you think we're on lap 24, he's only 13 seconds behind. Raul Fernandez is completing your top 10 at the moment. With in this Grand Prix. Coming down to you for some quick observations.
Yeah, just if you see a Frankie hit the rear ride height device, it dropped, and he got really good back up into place before he turned in front. Fantastic.
Once he has got clear daylight ahead of him, he's pulling away quite comfortably. The damage that's being inflicted here by Jorge Martin, who has three-quarter phase of this Grand Prix from Pedro Acosta, but he has not blinked off with just 2 laps to go. But just look at those lap times. Absolutely to his sprint spill yesterday, isn't it? As Jorge Martin looks to
self-survival of the 21 that started. Only 12 are left with 3 laps. Morbidelli and Bezzecchi, the battle of the soft front tyre runners for 4th and 5th place. Binder's just set a personal best lap in 9th as he's trying to steal 8th.
There's a front fender on there.
Off a Yamaha.
Yeah, laps to go then here in Mandalika, and it is Jorge Martin on course. Bagnaia, he will be taking 9 out of the reigning world champion. After Jorge Martin will be having that special feeling of just being able to 1 point buffer, he'll take over to Japan. Bagnaia will be regretting the start, which in the first few laps, and then just failing to get through on Morbidelli and Bezzecchi.
Since the French Grand Prix of Le Mans in May, he has, of course, led the World Championship at the Sachsenring, but generally speaking, Martin has had the edge in this title. And to him here last year, he will not be resting on anything, even at this late stage.
For the Piera Mobility Group, there is no question, no doubt whatsoever. Maybe edge closer to the dominant Ducatis. Last lap then underway. Big gap then back to Bagnaia, who looks like he will rescue Morbidelli, a brilliant 4th place. Bezzecchi 5th, Vinales will 10 for LCR Honda.
Of course, qualifying has played a key role in what we've seen. He is likely his competition later on, particularly Enea Bastianini, but that is why this time it doesn't look as if he is going to falter.
And he's going to rub this in, because by 4 seconds, he's going to beat Bagnaia by over 5 seconds. What a response. Out in Mandalika in 2023, he crashed out of the Mandalika sprint here with a masterclass. He is the master of Mandalika, and he's pitboard. Come on, Prima Pramac Racing say, as he takes a monument of a sensational rookie, Pedro Acosta. Brilliant by the Gas rider. Job that by the world champion. But he's over 5.5 seconds behind Jorge Martin. Morbidelli is 4th, Bezzecchi 5th. Those two had great rides. He's punched the screen off. Jorge Martin, wow. Now this could be very, very significant. The World Championship, because there could be 4 more points coming the way of Pecco Bagnaia.
Let's play as Jorge Martin in MotoGP Mandalika main race.
few minutes, the top three riders will arrive at the podium for the